Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Elsie Godwin and this is Reviews on the Couch, where we discuss movies, how they made us feel and lessons we can pick from them. If this is your first time of visiting, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the button below, the red button, and also hit the bell button so you get notified each time there is a new content. Thank you. On this episode of Reviews on the Couch, we are discussing a 2016 movie titled Everything But a Man. Well, we are discussing a 2016 movie in 2021 because it just became available on Netflix and it's trending and people are talking about it, and oh boy, now what? That's all I'm going to say, because if I try to start talking, I'm definitely going to say much more than my guest, so I would just zip it, right? And joining me on this episode to discuss Everything But a Man is Anita Eboigbe, who is a film business analyst, and also I have it was important to find a certified relationship and marriage expert and a media personality as well, who goes by the name Daniel Akpata. He'll be joining us to talk about the relationship angle of this movie, while I try to hold myself back from talking about everything that annoyed me in Everything But a Man. But the conversation starts right after this break. Thank you, Daniel, and thank you, Anita, for being my guest on the show today. This is the second time I'm having Anita, so I always make it a point of importance to shout out people that come the second time. So thank you, Anita, for coming the second time on the show. So Everything But a Man. I want to get Daniel is a relationship and marriage certified coach, right? And he has a show on what's the name of the show now? I know it has been rebranded Max FM. It's no more Radio Continental, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, so he has a show there,
Max.
late night, and that is where all the people with love issues in Lagos go to talk about their issues and all that. But I want to take it from the technical part now, and since Anita is the film business analyst and the reviewer, what was it like watching Everything But a Man? I understand it was a movie released in 2016. However, it's still a movie. So what do you think about it? What was the process like for you?
I feel like although the movie is very low budget, there are just a lot of non budget related production values that it lacked. For instance, it was a very promising story, a very popular story. I also, because I mean, Hollywood has finished the black successful woman who is lonely storyline, and somehow I just thought that something different was going to come out. Something different did, but it was it still followed the pattern of having to humble the woman a lot so that she can see what she's missing in life. At first you just see that this is somebody who is as complex and as flat as they come. They presented this very complex person, and they wrote her in a very flat way. There was no motivation, there was no backstory. We did not know what she was doing. We just saw her and we were just allowed to assume whatever we wanted of her. Meanwhile, the person that she was acting with, the male lead, we sort of we're seeing him unveil more, we're seeing him unravel more. And that's why it was easy for people. I mean, you watch it and it's easier for you to feel like you know him more than you know her. And also it points to the reason why when he did a lot of shady things, you are torn between whether to question or not to question them, because of the way they had written her to react to those things, and because of the way they had written her prior to meeting him. So you don't really know what you're supposed to do with the reactions that she genuinely has when he starts to unravel. That aside, I think the movie has a scores point for having a lot of talking points, and so it's a movie that sells or that does well, not because in itself it has great production value, but because it just raises a lot of red flags that you would want to clarify with people you watch it with. So we're talking about the treatment of successful black women, the way they see themselves, the cultural dynamics between Americans and non-Americans. We're talking about the issue of, deportation, green card, stereotyping people.
I was particular about the message and the relationship between Miss Price and, of course, Max, and the other relationships that ensued, before that. She had come in with the airs that, look, I don't need a man. All I need is to work hard and have a great career, and I'll be fine. And that was the baton she was about passing on to her legal assistant. And she was already towing that path, not until the end when she had to call her and say, babe, you know what? Go get your man. Work can wait. So the conversation was beautiful, and, the mistakes in relationship and, correcting it and making sure that you have a better perspective, because there are some things that hit you right in between your eyes and you're like, wow, how come I didn't see this? I love the conversation between her and Max's wife. It was so spot on. Like, you cannot enjoy money without love. You can enjoy love without money. And the reality is, by the time you have love, money will come. When both of you are truly and really bonded, money will come. So she had her priorities misplaced. And at the end, she was able to get that perspective. She had to fly all the way from the US to Haiti to get that lesson. So for me, it made a lot of sense. Elsie, the funny thing was that same day that you told me we're having this conversation about, coming on your show and talking about this movie, I had a young lady, 35, who called on my show that same day and was saying that she's a medical doctor and she got married and her marriage barely lasts 1 month. So she had everything going on for her. And she says every night when she sleeps on her bed, she feels that, look, there's something missing. This is not how my life should be. And she was calling that, look, how do I get help? She's this alpha female. Look, I can do everything by myself and everything will be fine. I don't need a man.
Okay, Daniel,
But
can I come in here? So I understand the idea of um alpha female or a woman wanting a man. I think one of the things that might be missing, especially when people are oriented, is balance. When you do not strive to at least balance out your work. I mean, there are alpha male and men that are very, very into their work, and what they do is work for money until night, and they are so into it. And at the end of the day, they find someone who is willing and ready to accommodate them and accept them for who they are, right? So why not? Why can't a woman do the same thing? I don't buy the idea of saying if a woman is career driven, she cannot have a good relationship. But looking at it from that angle, don't you think it's a case of balance, actually, for this character in question, and not necessarily because she chose her career?
yeah, you're very correct. It's a case of balancing out and having a holistic, view towards your life, and your life does not just entail your work. It entails also balancing relationship and making sure that you have the right mindset about relationship. Now, if you notice, there was a part in the movie where uh, there's a book that is titled Everything But a Man, and there was a show
Mm-hmm.
on TV that was going to come on,
Mm-hmm.
and she just did not want to be a part of it. So it means that all she was about was, look, work, make money, have comfort. And then there were already preconceived ideas about what a relationship should be all about, the kind of person she wants to be with, and the main thing that she ought to understand and balance out and plan a relationship, it was missing. It was missing. So yes, you're very correct. It's about balance and it's about, making sure that you are that person that is not having baggages that you are dragging around. Because I say regularly that true success is never an easy achievement. Happy and fulfilling relationships are a product of extreme effort. They are desired, sought after, fought for, and planned. They never just happen. They never just happen.
Some people actually argue that because they'll tell you some of their relationships started at first sight. There was love at first sight. They knew they were going to be together, and then they went for it and made it work.
There's nothing like love at first sight.
Ha, that's
I'm
another
sorry,
conversation.
love
Okay.
at first sight. Do you even know the meaning of love?
Okay, so
people
I
use
guess it's
words
safe
they
to
don't
say
know.
attraction at first sight.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Okay, I did not like the way the Nigerians were being portrayed in terms of saying, oh, this is what they can do. Also, we are these overzealous and over nosy people. People come into your party and then you're already asking them how much did you buy for this I'm selling. I mean, I know I tried not to act like I have seen the whole of Nigerians and what they can do, but I don't want to believe that we are that intrusive and don't even respect boundaries. I don't like the way it was portrayed. But then again, when I went back to look at the movie, read up about it, and I realized it was 2016. 2016 is how many years ago? 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would agree that this could be attainable in 2016, but it just felt somehow. The guy was brandished a Nigerian man for the longest of time, and I started thinking, is it that most of the bad things that they claim that Nigerians do abroad are done by other tribes, and then you just believe that because they're black and sound a certain way or can be smart a certain way, they are being done by Nigerians?
Particularly for me, I think there was no need to stereotype the man as a Nigerian man when it was clear that he wasn't even Nigerian in the first place. You let him just go on letting the audience believe that he was a Nigerian man, and then you reveal that he wasn't Nigerian, but he could crack, jokes that were very stereotypical about Nigerians. He could, including, the Nigerian prince joke, the Nigerian men marrying American women for papers and all of that. You put him in a Nigerian party where they're eating food and dancing with no regard, and he had the right to say that that's what happens in Africa. African men can dance erotically with anybody that they like. There's just so many moments like that just take away from the story that I think that they weren't even necessary. The time that they were supposed to use to build a backstory for the woman, they spent it trying to flesh out the man so they could make up excuses for him, and then pass lessons down to the audience, whatever that means. But generally, you can see that, the movie does not thrive well on its own. But when you're trying to maybe have discussions with people on a lot of these things that were raised but not finished or that were not properly treated in the movie, that's where it really does well.
Well, I feel that our image out there is not so good, all right? And it's unfortunate that, the people that ought to do something about it are not doing anything about it. There needs to be an attitudinal change in the Nigerian, people. Most of the people who go out there misrepresent us. Yes, you can speak for yourself, Elsie, that, oh, you are not nosy, you are not overzealous and all of that. But most people who get out there don't have, a culture of being very polite and not being intrusive. You have people that are loud and they just do things. It's not far from the truth. It's the reality that is staring us in the face.
Wow.
So I wouldn't outrightly just go out and say, oh, I didn't like the way we're portrayed, but it's not far from the truth. If you really look
Wow.
at it, to an extent, that's who we are. I'm sorry, but I'm a realist, So when you see some people, I interact with a lot of people every day, and the way we communicate is, my God, most people don't know how to communicate. somebody will tell me a story. By the time you start, you know you are talking to an expert. And then by the time you start, I already know where you're going. And then they rigmarole, and then you hear stuff like, I don't know. Then at times I get very, irritating. I say, okay, call me back when you know. Instead of being very technical and craft out your question. So some people, after they have said everything they have said, I'll now ask them, so what is your question? And then some people will start another length of story. So it's the truth. Somehow, yes, we have very smart Nigerians, and we're doing great. But when it comes to communication, respecting boundaries, and just being humble, we are not there yet. There still needs to be that orientation, attitudinal change, and we don't really have that culture of knowing who we are as a people. And these are the things that is making us, lag behind in the Committee of Nations. We don't really have that, definition. Who is a Nigerian? What are we after? Who are we as a people? It's nothing like that. So and when that is missing, anything goes. And Nigeria is a place where anything goes. I'm sorry, but that's the reality.
Well, maybe it's not my own personal reality, but it's okay. Why is it difficult for a woman who is career driven to see a man who understands her and her career and is able to just stay with her to say, this is how it is? I mean, this is not talking about a woman with baggages now in terms of how she thinks and looking at men already as the enemy, right? I'm talking of someone who really wants to put in the effort to strike a balance in their personal life, but of course their work is demanding at the same time, right? So why is it difficult for people like that, career driven women, who also want to have a healthy relationship, to find men that are not necessarily intimidated, although I don't like to use that word intimidated, but I guess it is what it is, that are not intimidated by their drive and their success and are ready to just be supportive in whatever way they can?
Well, what is responsible? I like to, break it down in, 3 layers. First and foremost, the foundation is upbringing. Then you have your environment. And then the last stage is your experiences. Now, let's say your upbringing was not, proper, in the sense that you grew up in an indigent home, you didn't really understand what it means to be at that level and all of that. And then, of course, your experiences will further compound the story. And then, your environment. So your experiences is something that should remake and remodel you. For me, I had an indigent, upbringing. It was just my mom and I and all of that. But getting married, I started to ask questions. I said, look, I don't want to have this kind of relationship that my mom and my dad had. I want to have a beautiful relationship. What does it take? So I started to read books. I started to, enlighten myself and rejig my personality. It was then I got to know that, look, a woman is not a second-class fellow. It's not a second-class citizen. We are partners. If we're going to get married, we are partners, meaning we are equal. So if you don't have that orientation, that is why women who are successful, that's the word, you used it. Men are intimidated by their success because they have the typical African mentality that a woman is less than a man. So when I have issues, when I have couples come in for counseling like that, I get to ask them, when you were getting married, where was this woman? And then I quickly pipe in, was she behind you? You say, no, now. Was she under your feet? You say, no. So where was she? He said she was by my side. I said, okay, what does that tell you? And then they roll their eyes and I said, look, it tells you that both of you are partners. You are a team. The fact that we're told that you are the head is ceremonial. The real person that has what it takes, the app that is supportive and will help you, is this woman. And it is this woman you have downplayed, you have, brought down, you have, trampled upon her. It doesn't make any sense. So from there they get to start to understand that, okay, I didn't look at it from that perspective. I didn't see it from that perspective. Oh, my parents, what I saw, it wasn't what you are saying. Then we dig in more therapy session. These are the reasons: is upbringing, environment, and our experiences, especially when you are not intentional and deliberate about your experiences, to rejig your mind, to reorientate you in the right perspective. Because, like it or not, there are marriages that are beautiful, there are marriages that are, guys that are doing well. And the problem is not the marriage. The problem is in, the two people who are in it.
Yeah, definitely. I like that you mentioned upbringing, because I think that for a man to be able to be attached to that kind of woman, the man is also supposed to be someone that is complete in himself, in terms of being able to take care of himself, being able to have the basic survival skill that over the years we have thought of as the role of a woman or a gender role. So you should be able to clean up after yourself. You should be able to take care of yourself in terms of cooking for yourself, in terms of understanding that today I feel like eating, whether it's a spaghetti and mac and cheese or whatever it is you want to eat, and get into the kitchen and get it done. Or if you don't want to, then you order it. Like, just plan your life in the way that a woman coming to your life is not just about those mediocrity roles. It's about something more substantial. It's someone that you can build together, like you have said, and have strong conversations and strong bond. Not just about you want to get married or be in a relationship so that someone can do your laundry. What happened to washing machines? What happened to dry cleaning, right? I know this conversation is kind of different for different people, which is why when they start the drama on social media regarding, oh, who is going to wash and who is going to clean, I tell them straight, I think I've outgrown this kind of conversation. I cannot be having a cleaning and cooking conversation at this stage in my life when I actually do know how I get my cleaning and cooking sorted. So if I'm going to mingle with someone who that is his primary point of problem, then I don't think we have a common ground at all to even build anything, right? So I just feel like the movie had a lot of misconstrued um um representation of what they were trying to portray. Because if a movie titled Everything But a Man is done in 2021 or even 2020, I think it would have been executed better and be able to carry all walks of women along. Because yes, I understand the woman in the wife of Max. I totally understand it. She's a woman who has decided that this is who I am and this is my strength. Whether you have $10 billion somewhere, you cannot take my man away from me, because he is my man and this is the role I am playing in his life, right? That is the kind of confidence that a lot of women should have, whether you are rich or you are poor. I love that for her. And I'm not even judging her for anything, because I believe and strongly believe that we have places for women like that and they are very powerful, right? But the idea that what's her name now? Is it Miss Price? The lawyer.
The lawyer.
That she, so in America, they've always given us this notion that when a lady finds out that a man is cheating on his wife or that they've been dating a married man, they kind of cut off, like completely cut off, and like, we'll go back to your wife. This is wrong. But when she came back to him and started apologizing for even having to be able to stand on her ground to say, you know what, you have a wife, just leave my house. I mean, I was wondering, where is that coming from? Why exactly are you the one apologizing for sending a man back to his wife? Right? The story is just very unsettling, and it's in the morally upheld way that they like to put themselves in the movies. It wasn't morally right to see that a woman is now the one going to make amends. Even so, when he was trying to tell the story about his life, I was hoping that he would say maybe the woman has left him or something has happened to the relationship. But it was clear that my wife is there, and then the love is still booming. So are you supporting side chick?
So personally, for me, I would rate it 5/10. Um, I just wish they had done more with the material that they had, and I wish that when stories like this are told, we have more information to work with. Like, it should actually feel like real life. I know that these are things that happen every day. I know that people have diverse opinions on what women should do when they reach a certain age when it comes to their careers and families. There are never one size fit all answers to all of these things, and I wish that we had explored that instead of just putting this character in a box and expecting everybody to judge this person in the box and letting the other party get away with all the rubbish that he was doing. I really just wish that they had done more. Like, all the things that they wanted to do, the messages that they wanted to pass, they would have found better ways to pass them if they had just spent a lot of time treating the female character as an actual human being. So it's okay. We were able to humanize, the male character, and that worked. But we didn't have the same opportunity or enough material to humanize the female character. But like I said, it's just the kind of thing that thrives well because of conversation. And I think that anybody who watches it would have enough, conversation talking points to ruminate over with other people.
She was very harsh. All portrayed as her family when her parents called her. It showed that she did not come from the rich family, like you were rich from childhood. So the way she was now being so unreceptive of the
Talking.
guys' comments, acting like you've never seen people stay together in a small house because they all cannot afford it. It wasn't just connecting, because this character is not making sense. You worked your way up from the ground and you're already at the top, and you cannot relate anymore to people on the ground. And also, this is the same character that can actually go all the way out to put the bills, take care of the man. She doesn't mind. But at the same time, she also cannot stand up to cook. And also that sex scene where she was saying, "I'll serve you." I mean, this movie is just cringe-worthy. I don't understand it. It's just so annoying. I don't know what they were trying to get out of it, but I was so annoyed seeing this movie. To be very honest, I was really frustrated. Like, what is the point? Really, what is the point?
For
Anyway.
me, when I'm watching a movie, I try to
Mm-hmm.
concentrate on the positives that empowers me. Okay, any other thing that is not aligning with my values, I don't bother myself. I delete in my mind. I don't worry myself about it. So I feel that Max told her that, hey, in my culture where I am from, you can have a wife and still give love to other people. I think I heard him say that clearly. It was just her that could not stand it. And you would see
No,
the
I
conversation
get
that
that. No, no, no. I
ensued.
get that part. Don't forget that before they had that conversation, she had no
Mm,
idea that that is what his culture is. What she knew is that this guy is married, right? And then when she confronted
mm,
him, he said, "Oh, you never asked." And she's saying, "This is not something I should ask you. You should be able to say, I am a married man. It is your responsibility to be able to put that out there to say, I am married." And he maintained that, "Oh, you never asked, you assumed, you never asked, you assumed." And then she sent him out of the house, only for her to finally be the one going back to now apologize for sending him out of the house. I mean, that part did not just make sense to me, because um was she trying to say that she was now going to accept being his side chick or whatever it was, until he finally made that statement to say, in where I come from, I can actually have more than one woman as long as they can handle it. So I mean, I think, like you said, let's just focus on the positive. With your experience and what you know and people you've dealt with, right? What would you say is the lesson that can be picked from this movie, and how would you advise women who are finding it difficult in terms of balancing their life? I mean, also dealing with Nigeria and our mentality.
okay. So I feel that it's more about you unlearning certain things, because as we move around, as we do things, as we communicate with other people, uh, like it or not, there are residues of toxicity from other people that is dropping into us. So the
Mm-hmm.
onus is on you as an individual to unlearn those things. and keep your eyes on the ball. All right. I say regularly on my show that 85% of your sense of success will come from your happiness in your relationship. And only 15% of happiness will come from your success at work. Now, what does this mean? It means that it pays to balance out your personality in the space of your relationship more. But the reverse is the case. We concentrate more on work and we let our mentality about relationship just wallow. And then we latch onto what other people say without questioning, without digging, without checking with our values and beliefs. Who am I? Where am I going? What do I want from life? Does this resonate with who I want to portray? If it doesn't, you delete it. So most people don't do this. So it's balancing and reorientating yourself on a daily basis. Because like it or not, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, people come and say different stuff. If you are not, putting checks at the gate of your mind, people will walk the corridors of your mind with their dirty feet and they will leave dirt behind. So it's about getting understanding. And, I also feel that there's a part of us that don't do therapy. We don't do counseling. We don't think that we need to be counseled. We don't think that we need therapy. The moment you're talking about therapy with someone, you say, what are you saying? Are you saying I'm mad? No. A case of mental health is another issue entirely, another kettle of fish entirely. So we need to be at that place where we are the gatekeepers of our minds. That is when definitely you can rise above all the pettiness and all of the, toxicity that is flowing, out there.
Finally, before I let you go, it will be very important for you to also say something about men or say something to them in terms of how to not always think that they have to be the alpha. A woman can be the alpha, like you mentioned, and she has every right to be the alpha, right? The way
Yeah.
I mean, just speak to men generally. What would you expect them to do in terms of re-engineering their mindsets of their expectations when they are attracted to a career-driven woman?
Okay, so there are three, different kinds of men. Number one is the hunter. The hunter is someone who just, works hard, earns big money, and then he looks for a career-driven woman that is beautiful, and then he marries her. And then when he marries her, the hunter cages her woman. Tells her, babe, you don't need to work. I mean, I've made all the money, just stay at home, enjoy yourself. At first, it sounds appealing to the woman. But 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, she starts to like, no, I can't do this. I need to get back on my feet again, get back on my career. So the hunter cages the woman. The second kind of man is the scavenger. And I say regularly that the scavenger is if there's any word like the worstest, that is the scavenger for you. Now, what is about the scavenger? The scavenger preys on the weaknesses of the woman. At the beginning of the relationship, if the woman is wrong, the scavenger man will apologize. What is he doing? He is gathering all of the weaknesses in his hands. When his hands becomes full and he has truly known this babe, he switches everything on her. Power changes hands, and then he begins to emotionally abuse her. Begins to tell her, look, who's deceiving you that you're beautiful? If I leave you today, nobody will look at you. And you see, what we hear on a regular basis is what we become. This is what defines why a woman will be with a man that is mistreating her, but she doesn't want to leave. She cannot leave. Okay? So the scavenger man preys on the weaknesses of the woman. Then the last, stage, the last set of men is the gardener. The gardener is the man that is willing to help his woman become all that she wants to be. He knows that it is his responsibility to coach her, to groom her, and to make her, fly, spread her wings and fly. He is not scared of her success. In fact, he is proud when the woman is flying high and she's doing even better than him. He is proud. That is a gardener. You nurture her because the reality is there's a lot in her. There's a lot in her. And for you to get her submission, it takes you low for her to, be at that place where she can respect you, she can love you, and can cut off her head for you because she knows that it's not one-way traffic. You also can do the same thing. And I say this all the time to women, that women, you need to be very careful that women, to men now, women are not rehabilitation centers for badly raised men. Women are not rehabilitation centers for badly raised men. It is not your job as a woman to fix him, to change him, to parent him or raise him. You want a partner, not a project. So for a man, you need to groom yourself to that level where a career-driven woman can respect you, can honor you. Are you even cerebral enough to have a conversation? Do you understand the things that she does? Do you know the makeup of a woman? When my wife and I met, and at that time, she was deeply depressed because she had been in a relationship that they had done introduction, and the guy suddenly just pulled the plug and said, look, I'm no longer interested. I cannot marry. She attempted suicide. But when we met, I saw that this babe needs help. And because of what I do, I was already equipped to be able to help her rise and get out of depression. So you as a man, you should be, how will I put it now? You should be all rounded, well-rounded. Don't just focus on what you are doing. Get knowledge about relationship. Get knowledge about your role as a man. Get a mentor. Most men don't have mentors. When I sit down with some couples and I ask the man, so sir, who is your mentor? He said, God is my mentor. I tell them, you are deceiving yourself. When last did you meet God one-on-one? So these are the things that would make that man be able to coexist and help that alpha woman to submit and be all that she was designed to be by the Creator.
Thank you for watching. If this is your first time of visiting my YouTube channel, please kindly subscribe by clicking the red button below and also hit the subscribe button so you get notified each time there's a new content. We bring amazing conversations as this to this YouTube channel every Saturday morning on Movies on the Couch. We talk about movies, and if there's any movie you think we should be talking about and we haven't, kindly send me a DM on Twitter, Instagram, wherever. My details are in the description box. Is Elsieisy, and of course I would be willing and look for the perfect guest to have a conversation from the movie. Till I upload another video or till another episode of Reviews on the Couch, please be good, be safe, protect yourself, and practice every measure of safety to remain alive so that I can have you watch my movie again next week Saturday. Bye.